Hello everyone. I welcome all of you to the 59th session of the course Energy Law. In today's session, we will examine green buildings. Let us quickly recap what we have discussed in the previous session. In the previous session, we examined green hydrogen. We started with the conceptual understanding followed by production of green hydrogen in India. Then we examined the National Green Hydrogen Mission. In the later part of the session, we examined the role of green hydrogen in decarbonizing industry and transport. Finally, we also examined the challenges associated with green hydrogen production and governance in India. In today's session, we will examine green buildings. We start by examining the concepts. Then we will examine the regulatory and policy framework, followed by green building rating systems. Then we will see energy, water and resource governance. And in the end, we will discuss the challenges associated with green buildings. Let us briefly examine the scope and significance of green buildings. Green buildings have become a central element of sustainable development strategies, responding to the environmental pressures created by rapid urbanization, rising energy demand, water stress, and climate change. By integrating energy efficiency, climate responsive design, resource conservation, and healthy indoor environments, green buildings seek to reduce environmental impacts across the entire life cycle of the built environment. Beyond design, green buildings raise important questions of governance, regulation, and equity. Their effectiveness depends on how building codes, urban planning rules, market incentives, and institutional capacity align to translate sustainability principles into real performance outcomes at scale. Let us examine the concept of green building. Green building is a forward-thinking approach to construction that combines innovation with environmental sustainability. It focuses on creating structures that minimize resource consumption and reduce ecological impact across every phase, from planning to construction and deconstruction, ensuring sustainability at every step of a building's life cycle. Green building promotes efficient installation and solar energy systems. Green buildings incorporate rainwater harvesting, low flow fixtures, wastewater recycling, and landscape design suited to local hydrology, helping reduce pressure on municipal water systems and groundwater resources. The use of sustainable and low carbon construction materials, along with construction waste management and recycling, reduces embodied energy and environmental damage associated with rapid construction activity. Beyond environmental performance, green buildings contribute to climate adaptation and urban resilience. Recent trends in India include net zero energy buildings, environmental, social, and governance compliance, AI powered building management systems, biophilic designs, modifying existing structures, and modular and prefabricated construction. Let us examine the regulatory and policy framework. India's green building regime has evolved through a multi-layered and fragmented regulatory structure rather than through a single comprehensive statute. Governance is distributed across central legislation, subordinate codes and standards, state adoption frameworks, and local urban regulations. At the national level, the Energy Conservation Act 2001 provides the principal statutory foundation for regulating building energy performance. Enacted to reduce energy intensity across sectors, the Act empowers the central government to prescribe energy efficiency standards and designate energy intensive users. Pursuant to this authority, the Energy Conservation Building Code was introduced to establish minimum energy performance standards for commercial buildings above a specified connected load or contract demand. The Energy Conservation Building Code regulates key parameters such as building envelope performance, lighting systems, heating and cooling equipment, and electrical systems. For the residential sector, which accounts for a rapidly growing share of urban electricity demand, the Eco-Niva Samhita extends energy efficiency principles to housing. The Eco-Niva Samhita focuses on thermal comfort and envelope efficiency, addressing walls, roofs, windows, shading and orientation to reduce cooling loads. The Green Building Policy was introduced in 2006 and has set an ambitious target of ensuring that all new buildings adhere to green standards by 2030. The policy was introduced with an aim to make sustainability the new norm in upcoming infrastructure projects by defining guidelines for waste management, energy efficiency, and conservation of water and use of renewable resources. In India, green building norms are integrated into state building bylaws to promote sustainable construction practices with various incentives offered to encourage compliance. The Model Building Bylaws 2016 serve as a foundational framework guiding states to incorporate provisions for energy efficiency, renewable energy integration, and resource conservation in their regulations. Municipal corporations and development authorities operationalize green building norms through development control regulations, zoning laws, planning permissions, and occupancy certificates. As a result, compliance requirements vary widely across cities with differences in thresholds, timelines, and enforcement capacity. Environmental regulations add another indirect but important layer. Large building projects such as townships, special economic zones, IT parks, and commercial complexes may fall well within the ambit of the Environment Protection Act 1986. Many states offer a combination of fiscal and non-fiscal incentives for certified green development, like additional FAR, rebates in development charges, building permit fees, duty on property transfer, and so on. These initiatives reflect a concerted effort across various states to promote sustainable development through both regulatory frameworks and financial incentives. In addition to this policy, the Government of India also offers tax incentives to builders who construct LEED certified buildings. Builders can receive up to 100% depreciation of their expenses on solar panels, waste management system, and rain harvesting structures. Also, the Government of India offers low interest loans through Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency. Let us examine the various green building rating systems. Let's start with GRIHA, Green Rating for Integrated Habitat Assessment. This was developed by THERI and endorsed by the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy and is closely aligned with Indian climatic conditions, construction practices, and policy priorities. It places strong emphasis on passive architectural design, climate responsive siting, reduction of fossil fuel energy use, water self-sufficiency, and construction stage environmental management. GRIHA standards incorporate life cycle assessment principles, evaluating not only operational energy use but also embodied energy in materials and long-term resource efficiency. Its linkage with government policy has led to its adoption in several public sector and government-funded buildings, giving it a semi-official regulatory character. Indian Green Building Council rating systems, promoted by the Confederation of Indian Industry, offer a portfolio of sector-specific standards covering commercial buildings, homes, factories, campuses, healthcare facilities, and cities. IGBC frameworks emphasize energy efficiency, water conservation, waste management, sustainable materials and occupant well-being with graded certification levels that create reputational incentives. LEED, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, an internationally recognized system, has been adopted in India primarily by multinational developers and corporate campuses seeking global comparability. LEED standards focus on energy and atmosphere performance, water efficiency, materials and resources, indoor environmental quality, and innovation. The Bureau of Energy Efficiency Star Rating rates buildings based on energy use per square meter. Yet, Excellence in Design for Greater Efficiencies tracks measurable energy, water and material savings. WELL certification focuses on occupant health and well-being. This is gaining popularity in India's high-end commercial spaces for its emphasis on air, water, lighting, and mental wellness. A prime example of meaningful sustainability is the Suzlon One Earth campus in Pune, which operates entirely on renewable energy using its hybrid wind turbines, solar panels, and photovoltaic cells. The campus is LEED Platinum and Griha 5-star certified, making it one of the greenest corporate campuses globally. Similarly, the Confederation of Indian Industry, Sorabji Godrej Green Business Center in Hyderabad, serves as the benchmark for resource optimization. Let us examine energy, water and resource governance relating to green buildings. On the energy side, green buildings are closely linked with electricity regulation through the integration of rooftop solar photovoltaics, net metering or gross metering frameworks, on-site battery storage, and emerging demand response mechanisms. These features transform buildings into prosumers, raising questions under electricity law regarding grid interconnection standards, technical safety codes, and tariff treatment. Water governance presents even more complex challenges. Green buildings rely on low flow fixtures, dual plumbing systems, rainwater harvesting, groundwater recharge structures, and wastewater recycling to reduce freshwater demand. These practices intersect with municipal water supply rules, groundwater regulation, environmental protection law, and public health standards. Resource governance in green buildings encompasses material efficiency, waste segregation, construction debris management, and circular economy practices. Sustainable material sourcing engages environmental norms and procurement policies, while on-site waste segregation and composting intersect with municipal solid waste management rules. Let us examine the various challenges. Despite growing policy recognition and market uptake, the expansion of green buildings in India continues to be constrained by deep-seated governance and institutional challenges. One of the most persistent barriers is the high upfront cost associated with energy efficient design, advanced materials, and on-site renewable and water systems. While life cycle savings are well documented, existing finance models, valuation practices, and lending norms remain focused on initial capital cost, discouraging widespread adoption, particularly among small developers and public housing agencies. Uneven enforcement and regulatory capacity further limit impact. Urban local bodies are central to green building governance through building permits, occupancy certificates, and service provision, yet many lack the technical expertise, staffing, and digital systems required to assess compliance with complex sustainability standards. Equity concerns are increasingly important. Green buildings in India are disproportionately concentrated in high-end commercial developments, gated residential communities, and corporate campuses, where certification offers branding and investment advantages. Affordable housing, informal settlements, and public infrastructure, where resource efficiency and climate resilience are arguably most needed, remain largely outside the green building ecosystem. This raises normative questions about whether green building policies risk reinforcing urban inequality by treating sustainability as a premium feature rather than a public good. From a legal standpoint, the absence of binding performance-based mandates weakens environmental outcomes. Most green requirements remain design-oriented and voluntary, with limited mechanisms to ensure that promised energy or water savings materialize after occupancy. Performance-based regulation, supported by digital monitoring, smart meters, and data disclosure, can enable regulators to track real-world outcomes. Let us conclude our discussion. Green buildings represent a critical pathway for reducing the environmental footprint of cities while improving resource efficiency and occupant well-being. Their long-term impact, however, depends on moving beyond design intent to consistent implementation, monitoring, and governance. As urbanization accelerates, the challenge lies in embedding green building principles into mainstream construction and urban policy, ensuring they contribute meaningfully to climate goals, resilience, and inclusive development rather than remaining isolated or symbolic interventions. Let's see what's coming up. The next session will explore selected case studies that illustrate India's clean energy transition in practice, focusing on Indian Oil Corporation's Panipat refinery, the Kochi Green Hydrogen Hub, and Rajiv Gandhi International Airport, Hyderabad, as examples of biofuels, green hydrogen, and green building-led sustainable infrastructure. Thank you.